a lot of people think that once you come and hit the ground, that you got it made.
Yeah,
and a lot of them have come and learned you got to start from somewhere.
Yeah. That's just the start when you hit the ground. Yeah, when you hit the ground.
Yeah. So you got to humble yourself.
Yeah.
The D.Fos Podcast.
All right. The D.Fos Podcast, another episode. Got a special guest today, Dr.O. My man, what's going on, my brother?
I'm good. Thank
you. How
you for
doing,
having
man?
me.
Oh, absolutely, man. Thank you for coming through, man. Thank you for making time, man. I know Saturday is kind of prime time for everybody, but I definitely appreciate you stopping through, man.
Absolutely.
You know, so how you been, man? How's things been going with you?
Oh, good. Just steady on the grind. Enjoying the retired life, from the Air Force, but still working.
Still working.
Yeah,
that's just the end of one thing. You still grinding, even though you retired from that.
I'm still young. I'm still young.
Right. You are, man. Got in the game early, man. Air Force, you said, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What is the retirement in there? Like a 20 years or 25? Okay, yeah. How did you make that decision, man, to get into of armed forces? What made you choose the Air Force?
Oh my gosh. How much time we got? What happened was that when I was a student at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, my plan and goal was to be a news anchor.
Okay.
That was my dream. That was what I wanted to do. I lollygagged and didn't plan properly. So I did my internship my senior year. I should have done it in my junior year, but I did it in my senior year, and it was less than 6 months. So once I finished and everything, I was hoping, they can at least give me, open the door, give me just a foot. Let me get in there.
Get a toe in the door.
Exactly. Let me just so I can just work my way up. But because I didn't have 6 months, which was the minimum, they didn't have anything for me. So here I am graduating from college, didn't have a plan. So I decided, well, the only way that I still want to do TV, I still want to do media, is to do it in the military. That's the only way. That's the last resort.
Okay.
And I remember I was working at Walmart at the time.
Okay.
And I was like, there was a Marine recruiter that was coming at me hard. And I was just like, nope. I'm not doing the Marines. So I decided to try the Air Force, and I applied, took the ASVAB test. I didn't qualify for communications. I qualified for engineering, but it was still a job.
That's that's a higher qualification, it seemed like, ain't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, it was a job, so graduated in December 2002, January 2003. I was on a bus, headed to, going to Texas.
Wow, interesting. Yep. Let me give you a little backstory on Dr. O, too. Dr. Okechukwu Nwaneri, better known as Dr. O, is a retired Air Force chaplain, now working as a hospice chaplain. He is a Washington, D.C. native and the oldest son of late Bishop Godfrey and Reverend, Nkechi Nwaneri.
Yep.
He is married to his beautiful wife of 16 years, Chikwue, and they have a 6-year-old son, Low Time. Dr. O has been in Las Vegas for 2.5 years after being stationed here at Nellis Air Force Base. He is also an active leader at New Antioch Christian Fellowship at Aliante, that's our church, along working in men's ministry with myself and Pastor Marias Richardson. Dr. O is also the founder and director of Dig and Grow with Dr. O, which is a nonprofit organization designed to help produce and mentor young men of distinction and integrity through application of biblical and practical principles. Dr. O will be hosting his first event at New Antioch Christian Fellowship at Aliante September 23rd, that's next week, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., titled The Battle, acronym for Begin Actively Training to Live in Excellence.
Yep.
So there it is, man. You have quite an impressive resume, if I can say so myself, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And so you're originally from Nigeria, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
First generation.
Okay. And so you still got family there and everything?
I do.
Okay,
I do.
okay. A lot of family.
Yep.
Okay. And what was the culture like growing up in Nigeria, man? Like what was?
Well, so I'm from Nigeria, born in Washington D.C.
Okay.
But I've only been to Nigeria twice.
Twice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went in 2005.
Okay, that's where your roots are planted, though, ain't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
In 2005, and then the second time was in 2019.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So the first time was when my dad was being coronated as a bishop.
Okay.
And then my mom was ordained in Nigeria. And then in 2019 was when we went to, because my dad passed away in 2015.
Oh, okay. I'm
so
sorry to hear
we
that.
did a, thank you, we did a celebration of life. I mean, just really a celebration for him.
Okay, for him, yeah.
In his village. So that was the reason that we went there.
Okay, that's big. So you kind of got some ministry background, being that your parents was kind of like, so you kind of grew up.
Yeah,
it's a PK. Yeah, PK, yeah. Wow, man, that's very interesting, man. And what is the language they speak in Nigeria? Is it called Igbo? What is it called?
Igbo.
Yeah,
Igbo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I heard that time pastor kind of flipped some Igbo on her print. I'm like, whoa. I said, whoa.
Yeah.
She flipped it, man. And so you a majority of your time was spent in D.C.?
Yes.
Okay.
So my parents, of course, immigrants. You know, my mom is still living. She lives in Maryland.
Okay.
So my dad came to this country as a student. He came in 1978.
Okay.
My mom came in 79.
Okay.
1980, I was born.
Wow. Just bing, bing, bing.
Yep.
Yeah. Bing, bing. Okay. Yeah. Man,
Exactly.
Wow. And I know, like, is it just from Nigerian culture, but is it a real, they put a real stress on education?
They do.
Yeah.
They
okay,
do.
Yeah.
They do. They definitely do. You know, the mentality, especially coming to the States, it's a lot of people think that once you come and hit the ground, that
you got it made.
You got it made.
Yeah,
and a lot of them have come and learned you got to start from somewhere.
Yeah. That's just the start when you get over, when you hit the ground. Yeah, when you hit the ground.
Yeah. So you got to humble yourself.
Yeah, that's true. So you went to like middle, high, and high school and all that over in D.C. too?
Yeah. So we lived in D.C. for the first 8 years of my life, so from 80 to 88.
Okay.
And then my dad was like D.C. Southeast at that, because I mean, you see the curly W.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Representing Washington D.C.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So you're not a Commanders fan then, huh?
Well,
kind of, yeah.
So you know, I look at it like this. I'm a Steelers fan. I don't have my Steelers hat on.
Yeah.
But I gotta have, you know, I gotta root for the home team.
A little bit of both.
Root for the home team, but I'm a Steelers fan. So
yeah, okay, yeah. Speaking of Steelers, man, you know, me and my wife went down there for her birthday. Man,
I was telling your
it
wife,
was good to be in the man. It was a cold beat there. Frisco did not have to do that, man.
Oh my gosh.
Like, man,
I said the message to your wife. I was like, what happened?
Yeah, man, Frisco looked good too, but it was good to be in the environment. You know what I mean? I thought about it. I said, I think Dr.O is a Steelers fan.
Yeah, I am. And and the Steelers are playing next week here.
Right, that's true. And she's going to be out of town next week. I'm like, man. So. But luckily it was only the first game of the season.
Yeah.
Just still got, 16, 17 games to go.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so interesting, man. And so when did you meet your wife, Chikwue? Y'all met in D.C. too, man. Shout out to Chikwue too, man. She do her thing, man.
We actually met in college.
Okay.
So I was a senior. And Chikwue was a freshman.
Okay.
So my wife played as an athlete. She played both basketball and volleyball.
Okay.
So we actually met in passing. And usually when I tell this story, I was walking past the gym. I don't know if it was a pep rally or something going on, but she saw me and asked me, "Are you Nigerian?" I was like, yeah, I am.
What made her hit that? Just looking?
That was it. And then, of course, I was the one that was chasing her. I chased her after the fact.
The chase was on.
The chase was on. I was just like, she asked me that question. You know, you walk away and like,
Yeah. What was that about?
What's that about? Let me go and investigate. So, yeah, the rest was history. 16
years, man.
Yeah,
that's beautiful, man.
Absolutely.
That's a long time, man.
Thank you.
And she's in the medical field too, right? She's on.
Yes. My wife, oh my gosh, she is my Wonder Woman. There's nothing that she cannot do. In this marriage, in this unit, she is the strategist. She's like Coach Prime.
Okay,
She is always
the motivation.
Oh my gosh, my wife is always grinding.
That's good, man.
Yeah,
that's good, man. Y'all make a beautiful couple, man.
Thank you.
Speaking of Wonder Woman, you always gave me the black superhero vibes, man. When I first, you just always give me them.
It's just like that. We need our own theme music.
You always give me them vibes, man. Because I know you always doing your workout thing. When did when did working out become a staple of your life, man? I know you pretty in the gym regularly on your.
So it wasn't always, growing up. Of course, play basketball
because you got the frame for it. You know what I mean? You got the natural frame.
And even before I mentioned that, because most people. Anywhere I go, even coming here to Las Vegas, people have been asking me, you play for the Raiders?
Yeah, who you play for?
No, I don't. Man, you huge, man. You look like you need to play for somebody. And I'm like, no. But bodybuilding and just lifting weights, that came about back in 2016. So what happened was
not that long ago then, huh?
Yeah, well, So what happened was that I was as a chaplain, I was on. I was away I went to New Mexico for 5 months, and I was in the gym and just lifting weights, and one guy was like, "Man, you look like you got the frame, like you look like you could do some bodybuilding." Nah,
you wasn't really thinking about it.
I wasn't thinking about that or whatever. And then when I got to Oklahoma. Where we were stationed, where we came from, somebody else said the same thing. So I was just like, maybe I should look into it. And in 2018 was when I did my first show. In Oklahoma City. And when I tell you that,
you did a show jumping out the gate.
I did a show.
Wow,
I did a show.
So you one of them cats that went from high school to the league? Huh?
Oh man, just jumped, and it was.
Good response from another.
It wasn't easy. I mean, because you gotta have
work, prepare,
a totally different mentality.
Yeah. And I know diet plays a big part. Yeah, diet plays a big part.
And my wife, I love my wife, but you can tell as much as she wanted to help, you could tell this is just too much.
Really?
Like at the time, it was like every week we had to buy a bag of two more bags of chicken breast.
Okay. Why? Just for the protein and the bulk up and all that? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So chicken breast. My meals consisted of rice, chicken breast, and vegetables.
Okay.
And to make that, and back then, this was pre-COVID. Chicken wasn't that expensive.
Yes.
But now a bag of chicken is like almost $30.
They didn't raise the price, and
So it's true. So I don't envy the folks that do it now. I'd be like,
the price, everything that went up.
I said, listen, I've been there, done that. It ain't that serious anymore. So
you still kind of active working out, but you're not going at it like that.
No. I to be honest with you, now that I'm 43 years old, it's like you have to still maintain, and you still have to. Still got to keep your tempo in check.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, you do.
So, and anything I can do to do that, to prolong my life, because of my son, just to be around,
right? To be in good shape when he gets older.
Exactly. But we have been blessed to do ministry. Well, God has called us to do ministry, but how can you do that if your body isn't in check?
Yeah, and that's where it starts, the temple.
That's it.
The temple, yeah.
That's it.
I totally agree. And you train. Do you train sometimes too? Train people? Like
I used to.
Yeah, kind of scaled that back.
I used to. Priorities stepped in, and it's just like, you know what? Yeah, let me shift some things.
Yeah. And I know you're a hospice chaplain. So what is a day in the life like of a hospice chaplain, man? I know it ain't easy. And
No. So when I was starting to transition from the Air Force, just looking, and I didn't even plan to. It's funny how God works.
God's plan.
I did not even plan to continue doing hospice or to be a chaplain once I got out. I wanted to get into project management, which is what I did when I got out the first time. So when I was enlisted back in 2007. So I did project management. I enjoyed it. So I tried to get back into that. So I was applying. and everything like that. Nothing was budging. And I saw one position for Hospice Chaplin. I was like, well, let me just go ahead and apply. I'm not taking it seriously.
Right.
And boom, they responded. It's like, yeah, you said we need you.
Really?
And so November of last year was when I started my hospice career, Hospice Chaplain career, and then I started out as a pediatric hospice chaplain.
For like what, children? Or
for children, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's got to be heavy, man.
Yeah. Anybody that talks to me and says, I don't know how you deal with kids that are terminal, that, you know, when I did, when I was in that world, I guess you say, like, I lost 5 kids within a couple of months, all to cancer.
God,
and, you know, it just made me really appreciate life and appreciate my son.
Yes,
because
especially seeing the kids.
I'm telling you, I mean, I lost kids from the ranges of 20 all the way down to 10. And that was really eye-opening to just how fragile life is.
Yes, it really is, man. It really is, yeah.
But yeah, so I did that for a little bit and then switched over to adults. So adults are now easier.
It's still, you're still dealing with
dealing with
and so you really, as hospice, you really just navigating them on their final days and trying to put them at a sense of ease. So do you go to a lot of those hospice homes, or is it in people's homes? Or
the way that it works in hospice, one or two ways, or one or two areas that you go. So you either go to a facility or you go to their home. Okay, and most of them are really just. How would I say this? So most of them are still kicking strong. You look at them and be like, you're in hospice?
You wouldn't believe it.
You wouldn't believe it. Yeah. But, I mean, they're there because maybe their family members can't take care of them anymore or whatnot. Then you have those that are bedridden. Okay. You have some that are, like, literally, they're transitioning.
They're
transitioning. So you have to be able to just show compassion and really just listen to them, because a lot of them are, as I learned in my clinical pastoral education, which I'm getting ready to finish up by Christmas Eve. Okay. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. One of the things that a lot of the patients are going through, they are grieving the loss of a healthy life.
Yes. Okay.
So they used to have a healthy life, but now it's like they are limited. I remember when my dad was alive, when he had cancer, you could tell that he was very depressed. He was very sad. He was just, you know, frustrated because he was a man that was always on the go. Yeah. And then now, because of this sickness, he was limited. Yeah. So you become frustrated.
Yeah. And I think men have a harder problem with it too, because we're so physical and so active, used to doing things ourselves.
But now you can't do it anymore. So it's like, well, what is there else to live for? And that's what I've encountered with a lot of these patients. So, and a lot of them even ask, God, why am I
still here?
Why is this happening to me? Yeah. So as a chaplain, what I do is to help them navigate those feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got to be tough, man.
It is.
It's got to be tough, man.
It is.
But obviously, I guess you have a heart for it and a compassion for it.
Yes, sir.
And to keep doing that's. I guess we all gonna see that time, you know what I mean? I know dealing with my stepfather, I just hearing the word hospice over the years when they say, well, they're sending them home, there's nothing we can do, they're bringing in hospice. Right. And for the longest, I was like, okay, what does that mean? And I didn't know that was really the road to really transition. And they can be 30 days or 30 months. You just never know. You just gotta kind of be there for the ride, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So hats off to that, man. Definitely, man. And now, how did you choose that? Particularly, even going into the Air Force, the chaplain, did you choose that, or was it something that was open, or you just said, I want to try it, or like what?
So as I said, I was enlisted from 03 to 07, so I was an engineer. I got out, and actually, literally, this was before Chikwue and I got married. So we got married in 2007, so my contract was up in 2006, well, getting ready 2006, and we had to decide if I re-enlist, you know, should I not? And at the time, my wife didn't want to be married to somebody that was in the military.
Really? Yeah, because of the travel and all the relocating and all that.
So I was like, well, because I value this relationship and I want to marry her.
Yeah.
You know, that's it.
That's it.
And I started working as a project manager for about 2 years. And it was, when you talk about the whole chaplain thing, I've always seen chaplains, you know, while I served, and I always enjoyed their presence and what they did.
A comforting presence.
The ministry of presence and how they basically lit the room up. And I was like, man, that would be a great job to have. Can I see myself doing that?
Yeah.
Nah.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't. And I remember 2009, I had the contract that I was on as a project manager. The project was already done. So it was like they weren't renewing it. So, of course, I had lost that contract or lost that job. So I was trying to figure out, man, what am I going to do? I need to apply for work. And I was sitting there at home while we were in Maryland, and I felt in my spirit God reminding me, remember that you wanted to be a chaplain?
Okay, it's coming back around.
And
now.
it came full circle.
Yeah.
And so I applied, and I got accepted. Then I went to seminary school while I was training to become a chaplain. And I went to Liberty University.
That's a big university too.
Yeah. I went to Liberty University, graduated in October of 2013.
Okay.
And then I was a full official chaplain. And, you know, being a chaplain in the Air Force is pretty great, you know, because of how the ministry that you have, the ministry of being able to take care of people no matter what walk of life, their ministry, their religion.
Okay, yeah.
Because we don't just take care of just the Christians.
Okay, you got to take care of
everybody.
whoever's in front of you.
If you're a Muslim, we take care of you. Yeah. So that was something that I felt like was a huge calling. I mean, you dealt with people with relationships, people with mental issues, people with just whatever stuff that they were dealing with. I remember one that I will never forget in my whole career, where I was on the phone with a young lady who was not committed, but she had suicidal ideation. So she wanted to kill herself. And I received a call, and I had to stay on the phone with her for 8 hours.
What?
Yeah.
Just to talk her through it, talk her down. Yeah.
And then in the background, try to get people to find her and locate her. And, you know, that was, I would say, if I can have one defining moment, that would be it.
Wow, man. And then try to locate her and see where she's at and rescue and all that. Wow, that's big, man. And you mentioned seminary. So you did seminary a long time ago, huh?
Yes.
And so was that part of your call to ministry doing seminary, or you did it because of the chaplain? Does that have to do with like...
It's a requirement.
It's a requirement, okay.
Yeah.
And then now you say you studying what you going to do in December. What would you say? You the clinical?
So as a hospice chaplain, to be able to work and have a better understanding of clinical, being a pastor in a clinical setting, you have to be able to learn how to deal with just the clinical aspect.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And you know, there's certain things that you do and you don't do in a clinical setting as a chaplain. Okay. So these are things that you learn. You know, certain lingo, certain questions you ask, certain questions you don't ask to push them over the edge.
The whole clinical aspect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and so how does that tie into your ministry now? Do you see yourself, you a minister, like pastoring, or how does that tie into your ministry current to this day?
So to be honest with you, you know, growing up, I've always wanted to, you know, pastor a church. Do I feel like that now? Not so much.
Things have kind of changed.
Yeah, things have kind of changed. I really feel that God, unless God says otherwise, but I feel God has shifted, you know, my mindset of what ministry looks like. It doesn't always have to be you're preaching from or behind a pulpit. Because ministry can be like what we're doing next Saturday.
That's a form of ministry.
Yeah, that is a form of ministry. And it's funny because I was, as you talked about the event on next Saturday, it's funny. I was talking to a young. No, he's not young. He's 1 year older than me. Okay. So I saw him, and we were talking. Just really, you know how like you go to the gym and you see somebody, you just
like what's okay,
head nod or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's like, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm good, man." So I'm trying to stay fit. You know, the older you get, you know, the more that you have to stay in tune with getting this body in order. He was like, "Yeah, man, I feel you. I had this high blood pressure thing going on and blah blah blah," and I was just like, "Wow!" Like we share that thing in common, and it was just something that we talked about. So it was like, and it hit me where not only does Dig and Grow with Dr.O focus on mental and emotional wellness for youth, but it's a bigger umbrella than that.
Yes,
it will be
bigger.
a big
because
because it can be physical awareness.
Yeah.
Spiritual awareness.
It can be maybe 3 different cups of that. Yeah.
And that's why like when he said what he said and I thought about it, I was sitting there during my rest period. I was like, wow, God, I thank you for that alley-oop.
Yeah.
Because because literally my mind was just focused on just
one aspect.
Yeah. So it was just like add these two. I was like, wow.
Because they all kind of go together. You know what I mean? It's amazing, you know, when I was going to the gym, you get so many revelations in the gym.
Man.
On your little rest period, like, man, okay. You almost coming there just for that.
I was sitting there for like, and it was past a minute and 30. I was like, I need to do this next set. But I was just like, wow, I said, let me write this down on my phone and whatnot so before I forget.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And so what was the inspiration behind starting Dig and Grow with Dr.O? And I like your videos, and they short to the point, kind of reaching some. You great on the acronym game, too, man. You got that. You the king of that, bro. I give it to you.
so what happened was that, to be honest with you, it's funny because I always wanted to, so I love doing inspirational videos.
Okay.
Because I just love to talk. I love to inspire. I love to encourage. And I was sitting there. I was washing dishes. That's what happened. I was at my home. I was washing dishes, and I was looking out the window, and it was just like I was washing dishes, and then it just hit me in my like it just. Dig and Grow with Dr.O. I was
like,
got
a nice ring to it, a nice flow.
Like, hold on, let me write that down. I said Dig and Grow with Dr.O. It's like, and then when I looked at it, or even trying to come up with the logo.
Yeah, even the logo's dope, man. The gears, it's I like it, man. It's clean, bro. I like it.
Come up with the logo, because I actually went on Fiverr.
Okay. So I like Fiverr.
Yeah. So I told him, I was like, this is what I'm trying to do. So I need something that explains growth. Something that explains.
Did they kind of nail it right off, or did they pick a couple? They did? Really?
First time.
Wow.
So I was like, and I put in the order, and like within a few days, got it back.
Wow.
And then I love how they, even with the cursive and all that stuff,
they made it clean.
All of that.
They made it right, man.
So I was just like, I need something that's straight to the point, something that nobody has, but something that specifies or speaks to growth and seeds and cultivating.
Yes.
So and honestly, like I said, dig and grow is not just one-sided. Like you can. The point is that in life, we are all learning.
Yes.
We are constantly putting our shovels in the ground to be able to discover things about ourselves, and from that we'll be able to use that to be able to grow ourselves, to be able to enhance and to transform our lives.
Yes.
So hence why Dig and Grow with Dr.O is important, because you know, I love to, like I said before, I love to inspire, I love to encourage, and I love to learn as well.
Yes, me too.
So,
absolutely.
So the same way that what I learn, I love to
pass it on.
Exactly.
Yeah, pass it on. Yeah.
So we're learning together.
Yeah. And they say to teach is to learn again. You know what I mean?
That's it.
And as long as you're green, you're growing. As soon as you're ripe, you know, you're pretty much dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I think, you know, the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. I'm like, wow. I got some more learning to do.
That's
you know
it.
what I mean? So I try to be a lifetime student myself. And so the Dig and Grow is fun. How long you been doing it now? The Dig and Grow is like what?
Since October.
October, okay.
Yeah.
And so now, congratulations, you're doing your first event now.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And so you speaking to, give us a little context about that. You speaking to the youth, the young men.
Yes.
And so you want to just give us a little rundown on that, the battle.
So the battle, begin actively training to live in excellence. There you go with those acronyms.
Yeah. Let me see if I can post it.
So basically, the premise of this event, when I started in ministry, my dad, who was a senior pastor of Divine Grace Mission, we're outreach in Maryland. Number one, I did not want to go into ministry. I'll say that.
Everybody said it's so crazy that everybody, and it's like God just kind of, okay, you going this way. You know what I mean?
It's like no. And being the oldest son at that, no, I do not want that life. I'm not trying to be nobody's pastor. I'm not trying to do none of that. And I ran like Jonah. I ran, and but the Lord arrested me. And when I decided to surrender, my dad appointed me as the youth pastor of our church. Okay. So because I was the closest in age and to the youth, so I could relate to them. And that was a great idea to do that. So ever since then, youth have always been, a passion for me, because people even, I don't even call them, they're young adults now that I have mentored from when they were like 12 to 16 years old, and now they are successful.
You see them growing up,
and it makes me proud.
Yeah, that
makes me
good,
proud,
man. To see that growth, man.
Exactly.
See that growth.
So the premise of the battle basically is, in this life, especially as young men, culturally speaking, just how the world is, a lot of young men are afraid to express themselves.
They are, man. They really are. And I think speaking to the youth and that demographic, they're afraid and they lose in the battle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They really are. So I think that's a great thing. Even the lineup you got, Twix, Pastor Mariah, Pastor Keith, both of them, from New Antioch, Keith Bowens, Bully Busters, and Pastor Jeremy. Speak about like your. I want to talk about this later too, but that's just a great lineup, man, of people from all different walks, man.
Yeah.
I know Keith been doing a lot of work in the community, with the Bully Busters and doing a whole bunch of stuff. I forgot to ask you too about your what's your fraternity?
Oh, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated.
Okay. And I know you cats are connected, man. Y'all right. So speak about that. What made you kind of pledge to that and go that route, and whether the benefits of being in a frat brother, man. If you will.
So when I was in undergrad, it was something that, like we lived in the dorms at the time. So you always have a resident assistant. Okay. And I had two of them, two males. One was an alpha and one was a sigma. Okay. And it's just like you see them on campus, and it's just like, oh man, that
maybe they be shining, doing their thing.
And I was like, man, that'd be cool. But I'm like, nah, just focus on what I'm doing. Okay. But even as a result, I ended up joining a Christian fraternity, which I'm still a part of, Alpha Nu Omega Fraternity, Alpha Nu Omega Incorporated. Okay. But once I graduated from college, went into just adulthood or just regular life after college, I always still had that thought in the back of my mind that, oh man, I still want that. I want to be a part of that. And it wasn't until soul searching, praying, and even coming to find out that people that I went to school with at University of Maryland Eastern Shore also expressed the same interest. I was like, wait a minute, you too? Yeah. So and a lot of my friends that are pastors, because I was just like, man, I just pros and cons, just try to list them out.
Looking at everything.
Exactly. And come to find out that one of our founders, Honorable Leonard F. Morris, was a pastor. So I was just like, oh, okay, that was a pastor. And then I see a lot of Sigmas that are pastors, and it's just like, okay, I think this will be a better fit because for me, and not being biased to all the, well, I am being biased, but all the fraternities that are out there. I mean, you have your Alpha Phi Alpha.
There's so many, like
Kappa Alpha Psi, Iota Phi Theta, Omega Psi Phi, and then you have us. So I feel like we are the combination of all of them. In one.
That's a good way to put it. I never heard it like that.
Yes, and some people will not agree to that, but hey.
Yeah,
you're not on air with me, so
right. That's true.
So this is my opinion. But basically, I had decided that this is the route that I wanted to go, and it was a good decision for me. And literally, so I had pledged grad chapter. This was in April of 2017. And then I got orders to move to Oklahoma in May. So literally it was like, congratulations, boom, boom.
And then you gone.
And gone.
Okay, so but that was right on time then. Right on time. Okay.
So it has been awesome as far as the networking.
I'm about to say, It seems like that's just one of the biggest benefits of it,
Absolutely.
And from what I understand, you brothers look out for each other, man. It might be a cat that got a plug here and somebody that works here, so y'all kind of,
Case in point, so when I found out I was coming, or we were moving to Las Vegas, one of my frat that, he doesn't live in Las Vegas anymore, but I reached out to him. I was like, hey, I need to find a barber. As I'm moving down there, I said, I need to find a barber, because with hair, you got to make sure you find somebody that you can trust. So he was like, oh, we got a frat brother. His name is Twix.
Wow.
And he owns a shop for the mall, Summerlin. So I was like, okay. So I said, let me hit him up. And that's how I met Twix. So, and then I got connected with the chapter here, Epsilon Psi Sigma. And it was just like, wow. So it's like anytime that, just the connections that is bigger than what most people think that was just that. But no, it's bigger than that.
It's big.
It's bigger than that. Because you never know how somebody you asking for something, or you're inquiring about something, how it can help. Like it's like a virus, so it goes out very quickly. And everybody that hears it be like, oh, I got this, I got this. So
that's big. I look at connections like outlets. You know how you plug into an outlet strip, so you plug into this one, but you never know what this cat is plugged into.
Exactly.
And it just keeps multiplying. You know what I mean? So that's good, man. Yeah, shout out to the frat, man. I always looked at that. And a happy belated birthday too, man. You celebrated a birthday too, man.
I did. August 31st. I turned 43 years old. My Troy Polamalu year.
Troy Polamalu. Absolutely, man. Definitely, man. And how did you find me and Dr.O met at New Antioch Christian Fellowship at Aliante? And how did you find the church, man? Out of all you dropped a pin in the middle of Vegas. How did you find New Antioch, man?
It was not planned. To be honest with you, one of my mentors, Dr. Bill Coker.
Coker, Pastor Coker. Are they in Texas now, right?
Yeah, they're in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I told him I was moving to Las Vegas, he was like, so there's a church that I need you to connect with.
Wow.
And said, when you go, look up New Antioch Christian Fellowship at Aliante, and you're going to love Dr. Naida Parson. Okay. Well, let us get settled first, and whatever, and we'll go and visit. But before we went there, we went to go check out some other churches. One other church we went to go check, Redeemed Christian Church of God, which is a worldwide Nigerian church. Like it's just like a 7-Eleven.
It's everywhere. It's like a brand of them or something. Okay.
There's always an RCCG somewhere.
Really?
So we went there, and this is actually past the airport. So it was pretty far.
A little ways out there.
Yeah. So we weren't really it it's always good to be in an African church because that's your roots. But it just didn't sit.
And then is it a different form of preaching or ministry? What would be the biggest difference?
I would probably say the music.
Okay, the music.
The music.
Okay.
Yeah, the music.
The worship and all that.
Yeah,
okay,
the music would be a lot different because
Mm-hmm.
it's more catered to the cultural side. Like a lot of the songs will just have more percussion.
Okay, more drums.
More drums and bongos and stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah, it just it wasn't a good fit for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided, okay, let's go and check out New Antioch.
Yeah, we checked it out. We gave it a shot.
Yeah, we gave it a shot. So let's check this one out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was love at first sight.
yeah, that's good. I'm glad you came through, man. You definitely think you've been planted there for a reason. You know what I mean? I think you and your wife will do great work there, man.
Thank you.
I really do, man.
We believe so too.
Yeah. Just kind of popped up out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, okay, man, this cat seemed pretty cool, man. You know,
just like coming to America.
Just out of nowhere, man. You know, so that's wild, man. Definitely glad you're there. I know back in the day too, man. We had talked at the Spring Fest. You said you used to DJ back in the day too. Man.
I did.
Yeah. And that was when the days when it was the big hardware, man.
So I used to my DJ name back then was DJ Chairman.
Okay.
And because at the time I was at my father's church, I was the men's chairman.
Okay.
So
you was over like the men's group, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's what I had, and we usually every August have our picnic.
Okay.
And they didn't have a DJ.
Okay.
So I was just like, all right, well, I can go ahead and just use virtual DJ on my computer and just do a little something.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that.
Okay.
It went well.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, when I go back and listen to what I recorded, I was like, man, this was crap.
But back then, you couldn't, back then.
The transitions and everything was just horrible. I was just like, man, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
But I did that, and then I was like, man, I should probably, like, it felt good.
Mm-hmm.
So I had more of an interest in DJing.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up getting a NS7, a Newmark NS7.
Yeah, I remember the Newmark. Something else.
Yeah, I still have mine in my garage.
Yeah.
So I ended up buying one. I think it was like $1,300 at the time, and I booked my very first gig. It was I think it was a birthday. It was a wedding.
Okay.
And one of my old friends was like, man. I said, I need to come up with a DJ name. He said, you should call yourself DJ Chairman.
Just boom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I will do that. And DJing for me, I tell people it's like cooking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You have most DJs that like to do the scratching.
Yeah, the scratching,
which is great.
Yeah,
I mean, not me. That's not me.
Yeah.
I'm more of
a blending,
blending and transitioning. If you,
that's the whole game. That's what I like too. Yeah.
And I found myself now, even though I don't DJ anymore. But if I go to a wedding,
you really peeping, listening.
It's like I'm trying to enjoy the wedding, but the music's playing. I'm sitting there just analyzing. And I look at the DJ.
Like, why did he play that? Or when he do something good?
I say, that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
And then another one, if it's not clean, a clean transition, like, I would have did something else with that.
Yeah, bust up the whole vibe.
Yes. So that's how I feel with DJing. But DJing, man, it was
a hobby for you?
It was a hobby.
Yeah.
It was a hobby. And at the time, my wife had told me, she said, because I was still working, I was on and off working on my doctorate.
Okay.
From 2014, and I graduated in 2018, and I was procrastinating big time.
And that takes some real time and focus to work on that doctorate, man.
And especially when it got down to doing my dissertation, like I was playing around, like I was not focused, and I was doing mixtapes and stuff like that. She was like, listen, you need to go ahead and just finish.
Cut that thing.
Just finish it. So I was like, okay, I'm not DJing. Like I was done. And then I put my head down and just, so let me go ahead
grind it out.
Grind it out. Exactly.
I heard I had this time in your life, huh? I think I'm done with it too. You know, I DJ'd our spring thing. I told right now, I said, this is probably my last one, man. I do stuff for the church, but like as far as how I was doing it, I think I'm done. I got my equipment and everything too, but it just comes a time. Everything has a time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So. And I would honestly say that the great thing, well, what I loved about DJing and what I hated about DJing. Playing, getting into the groove of things. What I hated was breaking down.
That pack up and breakdown, man. That pack up and breakdown is real, man. Carrying all your stuff and all that. So,
backing it up, yep.
That's crazy, man. But that's good to hear things going forward, man. So definitely looking forward to that, your conference next week, man. Much love and respect on that, man.
Thank you.
Like I said, that's much needed. I was checking out one of your videos the other day, man. It was a quote. And if you want to speak on this, it said, "Discipline and obsession will take you further than passion." Remember that you was in the gym? Remember that?
That was just the other day.
Yeah, the other day, yeah. So what would be your speaking on that part of it, man? Would you say? Because living a disciplined life is hard, man, ain't it?
It is. Yeah. Because there's a thing, like with motivation, motivation is to me, by itself.
Yeah.
Is not easy to maintain.
Yeah, it's fleeting. It's always fleeting.
Yes,
yeah,
motivation, because like one day you're motivated, the next day it's like,
right.
Let me sleep in. And we've all been there. Where we say, you know what? I mean, this could be with your spiritual walk or even your physical, and like
it can apply to
everything. And you're like, I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week. I'm going to wake up at 4:30, and one day you start at 4:30. You wake up on Monday, Tuesday, snooze.
You said snooze. Right.
And then next thing you know, you find yourself at a point where you haven't been to the gym in like 2 weeks. The same goes like with reading the Bible or praying or just any of the spiritual disciplines. So that discipline. Tell me that quote again, or what I said.
A discipline and obsession will take you further than passion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that discipline and obsession, man, if I could say from the aspect of physical fitness, discipline, because it's something that you are pushing towards.
Yes.
This is the goal. This is what it is that I want to achieve. The obsession goes hand in hand. It's like Ken and Ryu from Street Fighter. You see one, you see the other. And you put those two fireballs together, it's going to be a big one.
That's true.
And I feel like with the obsession, like you really, in order for you to be disciplined about something, you got to be obsessed about it. Like you got to be constantly thinking about it.
It has to consume you. Like,
it has to consume you. You have to be upset. Now, there's some healthy obsessions.
And then
there's some that be like, you need some help.
Right. That's true. I know Grant Cardone, he's a big real estate guy. He's on YouTube. He had a book called Be Obsessed or Be Average. And that was one of the books I wrote. And he just kind of breaks it down how, like, if you're not obsessed, you're just going to fall along the wayside and be average like everybody else. So I just thought that was a great quote. I'm a quote guy. So I thought when I heard that, I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of stands out right there. You know, definitely, man. So, but, man, I appreciate you stopping by, man. We're going to wrap it up here in a second, man. Anything else you want to leave the people with, man? Speak about your conference coming up, and
I mean, to be honest with you, the conference, this is it's not just going to be it's going to be a first of many.
First of many, yeah.
But then also, like I said earlier, as we expand this vision, there's a lot of things that I want to do under this ministry or this faith-based nonprofit organization. Even with, I was also looking while I was at the gym. I was like, I wonder when Heart Health Awareness Month, and it says in May.
Coming up, in May.
Just having workshops, health workshops.
Probably tie something into that.
Exactly.
Tie something into that.
So I mean, so many things that I was just writing down. So I was like, okay, it's time to go to work. So, but I'm really just excited because, when God gives you, when there's a God idea, as Dr. Parson would say, involved, I mean, he makes it clear, and even on Habakkuk, say, write the vision, make it plain, so people that see it will run with it.
They'll take it and run with it.
And take it and run with it. And I want to It is my passion. People are my passion. Let me put it like that. And one of the things why I do what I do, I love to love on people. I love to encourage people. I love to give what I have to help.
Yes, yes.
And here is the biggest reason why that is. So my dad, man, my dad was a philanthropist in his own way. He loved hard. He helped hard. Even when people looked at him and was like, why are you doing that? Like when being an immigrant coming to the States, once he got his feet, secure and, have his own house and a job and whatnot, people from Nigeria will come and people that he don't even know. And he would house them. He would help them find a job until they got on their feet.
That's big, man. That's big.
What else? Like he was a big auction guy when it came to cars. So if somebody needed a car, he would help them find a car. They'll have they'll use their own money, but he would help them to find a car. He would find connections to help them find a car. My dad also had him and my mom owned a thrift store at one point, and he was
doing good work, man.
Yeah, they were doing good work. I mean, that with church. Also, he was connected with a food bank. Yeah, I mean, he was just
he was out there.
He was doing it. So
that's probably in your DNA,
exactly,
then, man.
Exactly. So being able to help others. Maybe not exactly how he did, but just being able to, the scripture reminds us, as Jesus said, that what you do, the least that you do for these people, you do for me.
Yes, for the least of my people, So
I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this for any accolades. I'm not doing this for nothing because I care for people, and it's a passion of mine. It's a discipline of mine. So this is something that I want to do to bless others because I know my reward, I'm not looking for a reward here. I know my reward is in heaven.
It's stored up in heaven.
So I want to be able to do all that I can while I can because, this life is short.
It's sure you never know, man. You never know. And I think we're blessed to be a blessing to others,
Yeah.
And I think it was Muhammad Ali that said that, he said, the rent you pay on earth or in this lifetime is your service to others. It's not about nothing else you think you're doing, but it's what are you doing for God's people? Or what are you doing for other people outside of enriching yourself?
Yeah.
And so I think that's just a outline, a way to live, man. And that's big. And especially ministry, I mean, it's the people business.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? We really in the people business. We in the soul saving business.
That's
you know
it.
what I mean? And
That's
so that's huge, man. That's huge,
and it's funny you mentioned about the soul saving business because when you're in the business, or not even say in the business, but just when you're in the ministry of helping people.
Yes, yeah.
Motives matter.
Yeah, right. What are you doing it for? Yes.
What are you doing it for?
That's true. That's true.
Motives matter a lot. Being able to, if you're helping somebody with an ulterior motive, then God sees that.
He sees, and he knows the heart. He knows the heart of man. Just out of the purity of your heart, not expecting nothing in return. I'm just doing good service and helping this person.
Because you have compassion, and I love how that's how when people do ministry, copy the blueprint because Jesus already made the blueprint.
Yes, he did
of ministry.
Yeah.
He was compassionate. He cared for people, no matter who you were or where your background or where you came from. We don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, it's already there.
It's already there.
Yeah,
so just love on people, care for people. Be pure in your motives.
Yes.
And just do whatever it is that you do. Make sure it gives glory to God.
Amen. Absolutely. First and foremost.
Yeah.
First and foremost. Absolutely. Well, man, Dr.O, I appreciate you stopping through, man. Good to hear your story. Fascinating, man. Motivating. Keep doing your thing, man. And you the busiest retired person I ever knew, man. So keep doing your thing, man. D.Fos podcast.
Absolutely.
Dr.O, Vegas Hype Media Network. My man Quan. We signing off. Peace.
Yes, peace.
Appreciate
it. The D.Fos podcast.